your mindset, your brain really matters to your future or how you think. The key thing for me is your thinking strategy. Come off that social media, come off Instagram, read books, get that phone off your table. I have that kind of discipline. Like, I won't touch my phone. I'll put my phone to do not disturb for like 4 or 5 hours. I will just focus on doing my thing. So those are the kind of things that help you to develop personally. If you believe you have that vision and you can get there, you want to get there, you can certainly get there, but it's up to you, not up to nobody. No matter what country you're from, it doesn't matter. This thing works in the poorest country in the world. It also works in the richest country in the world.
Welcome to another episode of Into Property Podcast with myself, Moses Bride. This is where we help people to find property, whether it's their first home, second home, investment property, and we help them manage the entire process. But this time we are talking about the journey of some of our clients and people who we've worked with. And I've got in this deal with me an amazing client who is going to share his story about how he got involved in property, and someone that we also had the privilege to work with today. So I'm here with Ola. Ola, welcome to the studio, man. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having me today.
Yeah. Pleasure, man. I know you're a busy guy. you're a busy guy. Amazing, busy guy. So Ola, let's get to it. So obviously, our viewers, those who are watching or listening, some of them obviously they want to get to know, who we're talking to. So just in a bit of a second, just tell us who's Ola.
Oh, interesting. Ola is just a guy like everybody else. I've been around for a long time. When I say long time, I've been in this country for a while. I mean, I came here when I was like 14, 15. So I'm like the second immigrant from my family. But I think the key thing for me is, my parents came here with a lot of struggle. They take some time for them to get the papers and all that stuff. So it is my responsibility to make it a bit much better. This is what I mean, because I don't worry about immigration, but I need to make my life a bit much better. I mean, it has to be a generation better than the previous generation. So those are the kind of things I got me into mindset of thinking. Yeah, so basically, I do 9 to 5, just like everybody else. Yeah. And I'm also into property business, just like some people. And I'm a lover of God.
Nice.
I go to church. I follow biblical principle. I'm a father. I'm a husband, and I love life.
Nice.
And life is good at the moment, and
like
we give
it.
God all the praise.
Oh, listen, man, the guys. I've never. I don't know these years. Every time I speak to you, I've never. Like, do you actually even have a down moment? Do you actually have? No, let's talk. Because we have conversations.
Yeah.
Like, we have some deep conversations, but you want guy to talk to. And whether it was COVID, do you actually have like down moments in your life? Like everyone else?
Yeah. I believe there's always down moment. No, there's no life that is always up there. Sometimes you go up, sometimes you go down. It depends on how you decide to react to it. I think that's the key thing. And for me, I see life in the sense that even though when you're down, you don't really have to look at react to it that you're down. I mean, for me, even when you're down, it's a challenge to say, okay, how can I get better? How can I get up there? You go through a lot of stuff in terms of sometimes you take risk where maybe it fires back at you.
Yeah.
And you learn from it and say, okay, what can I do? Not rather than just stay in my corner and crying. It wouldn't help anything.
Wow.
And I think those are the kind of key things. And also one thing I've always followed in the Bible, the Bible says the joy of the Lord is my strength.
Yeah.
So when you're full of joy, that strength comes in that, to know the next things to do. So it doesn't really help nobody to be down. If you're down as well, it's not healthy for your body. Yeah. So why do I want to kill myself?
I was, I love that scripture, by the way. The joy of the Lord. It's part of my confessions. The joy of the Lord is my strength. And I was listening to Rick Warren, he wrote The Purpose-Driven Life, and I'm just probably going to paraphrase. He said something that I really loved it, and it was along the line that if you look to the world, you have unrest, and if you look into yourself, you have distress. But if you look to God, you have rest.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah, that is actually very key. I mean, we live in a world where there's a lot of negative news.
So much.
You know, you go to the website, news website, BBC or wherever, you know, you speak to people. A lot of people are panicking. You know, starting from COVID.
Yeah.
You know, right now, all this war going on,
Iran,
Israel
Yeah,
is all
Israel,
negative news. And one thing I've learned to do with myself, because before I used to wake up, the next thing I'd check is what's on the news. And to be honest, when you see those news, it kind of kills the mood for the day.
Yeah.
But one thing I've learned to do is step my phone away and actually look at what God is saying for that day. You know, there are so many you know, Christian subscription that I do get newsletter from every day. Like UCB, I don't know if you heard about UCB.
Yeah, gospel.
Gospel, yeah. So I get newsletter from there through my email, read what they're saying for the day. You know, also make sure you read the Bible. It tells you what God is saying. And you know, the Bible is good news. So good news is better than bad news. Nobody wants bad news. Everybody wants good news. So I think for me, that those are the key ways to reflect and to get connected to God.
Yeah.
And to be honest, those things always work.
Yeah.
If you practicalize them, it does always work. Like, God, what are you saying today? What's the plan for me today?
But you know, like obviously, not everyone is a believer. Not everyone is a Christian.
Yeah.
Not
Absolutely.
not everyone is on that path. I never used to be on that path up to like 2008 when I became a Christian myself, became born again. Even though I was born in a Christian home.
Same.
You know what I mean? But, you know, born in a Christian home. But, born in a Christian home. But I my father was Muslim.
Yeah.
You know, passed when I was like 7 years old. But I became you know, my relationship with God and Jesus Christ started 2008, and that was when things changed also for me, because before that time, the panic, any little thing you just panic.
Yeah.
And I remember just what you're saying right now. I remember July.
Yeah.
July, the bombing in July. I remember just thinking about now. Because I was doing my dance studies then in college, and I was going to go to London. And there was someone from the college, and we should have actually gone one of those trains. But you just have this feeling like no. And my teacher was like, okay, fine, don't go.
Yeah.
And then that same lady called that I can't remember her name, and I think it's Claire. So she was crying.
Wow.
She called me. She said panicking because we didn't go.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But there was panic. There was a lot of panic. And I'm not saying things are not happening right now. There are a lot of things happening right now. There's, you know, like you said, there's the war with Iran and Israel. A lot of things going on. But I think it does help when you have that connection with
a source.
With a source.
Yeah.
For us is God as Christians.
It's God, yes.
You know, we know. Like no one has to. I don't need anyone to tell me that God is not real. Jesus is not real. People believe all kinds of things.
Yeah.
But I think is when you get to that stage in your life when you truly believe that, hey, I've experienced God for myself. So like you said, and how you start your morning is so important. How you start your day.
Yeah.
It just paves the way for the rest of the day. So thank you for mentioning that. Now let's talk about how we met.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how we met. You know what I'm saying? So we went
Gabriel's party.
You know, yes. Gabriel, man, if you're watching this, bro, look at this, man.
Pastor Gabriel.
Pastor Gabriel. Yeah. My boy, my man. You know, me and Gabriel go way back, man. No, for more than 20 years now.
Okay.
Way back. That's like my brother, you know. Amazing guy. Full of, just loves God.
Yeah.
Loves God.
Yeah.
And we were the party, and I think I only had one daughter then, and my daughter was playing. I think my daughter was the only child.
Yeah.
I don't know I think Gabriel's son was there, Salvatore. I can't remember if he was there, but we just, things were going on. I think we had Ed, and then
I remember. I think your wife was pregnant. She was heavily pregnant.
Yes. And then we started talking, and you asked me.
Yeah.
You asked me that question, which most people don't actually ask.
Yeah.
What was the question for those listening? What was the question you asked me?
I think one of the question I asked is, I asked what's your name, and and I was like, where do you work, or what do you do for a living, and all that stuff. And you tell me you're into properties. I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yes.
You're the first person I'll speak to among the people I started knowing then.
Yes.
That into properties, because I knew Gabriel to my missus actually. So my missus and Gabriel, they're friends.
Yes.
Before I ever met my missus.
Yeah.
They go to the same church. I think they were in the same choir or something. So when my missus told me that Gabriel invited us to the party, and that's why I met you.
Yeah.
And I always like to meet new people. It's an opportunity for me to expand
Network.
my networking.
Yeah.
And I think for me, one of the key things then was I remember then in my church that I used to go to before I got married. Very fantastic church, very lovely church. Jesus was there, everything was working fine. And the key thing for me was this was when I gave my life to Christ as well. I started going to that church, which was my parents' church, by the way. And everything was working. Everybody knows me. I know everybody. Everybody loves me. I love everybody. But when it gets to the point, you reflect back in your life. I remember that I sat down in the church. I play keyboard in church. And I was just reflecting my life, and I was sitting in my mind saying, God, I thank you for where you've taken me from. Wow, from where I am right now. And I heard that in my spirit saying there is more. And I was like, I almost said it loud, like, what do you mean there is more? It's like there is more, but it's not here. And immediately the word just take me to when God spoke to Abraham saying, leave your father and your mother's house to where I'm going to take you to. Because literally that's my father's house. Like I know the pastor there is like a father to me. Everybody's like a family to me. So when you're well contented. So that mentality, just to cut the story short, that mentality will take me that, okay, if I'm coming out of here, I need to know some new other people out there. Yeah. So I tried different churches then. So I wasn't feeling very comfortable in my church anymore, because since then, something just told me, you need to get out of here to expand your horizon. So I've found winners in that, which is church I go to then, and then Gabriel and my missus. That's where I met my missus, by the way. Then
see,
so
guys, you listen to this, listen, man, go to church,
go to church. Yeah, that's where I met. So that's why I met my missus, and so my missus, I would say. Funny enough, I'll say 90% of the friends I know now, or the people I hang around with, or the people that we have the same mindset, I'll say it's through my missus. Wow. Like, not really my missus' friend, but I just knew them because the network. The power of networking.
Well, it says, he who finds a good wife and obtain favor. So there you go. And then when we met you, you asked me the question, and we just, it was so interesting though, because it's like. It was like, okay, it felt like I'm not talking to anyone else. I'm talking to this guy, and we just got on. We just got on so well, absolutely. And it just tells you that you can network anywhere. You know what I mean? You can network anywhere.
It's funny. We're talking about this. So last Saturday, today's Monday. This last Saturday, a friend of mine did a 40th. So his missus actually surprised him as a 40th birthday. And so I know this guy really long time ago as well. Since I've been in this country, I know this guy. So we're like brothers as well. So while the whole 40th party was going on, I met another guy. I met him, and we just started talking. And basically, we're not talking about work, even though I know what he does, but we're just talking about our dreams. So the thing this guy was saying, I was like, that is my kind of dream. You're talking about them. I'll give an example. He was saying he's looking forward to the day where he doesn't need to, when his son needs him to go and play football with him, he does not need to be typing email or being on the phone or stuck at work. I said, we're all in the same thing. Yeah. So anyway, to cut the story short, I realized the kind of business he's also doing, which is also into properties and also into stock and shares. And I was like, okay, we kind of like in the same alignment. And we just started talking. And in fact, before I came here, we still chat a little bit on WhatsApp. So it just tells you the power of networking. And he was telling me some of the stocks that he has bought into. I said, I didn't know about that one. I was telling him some of the ones I bought into. I said, okay, you didn't know about that one. And see how that power of networking comes in. And he took my advice, I took his advice, and it's win-win for both of us.
Wow.
you know,
networking is incredible because you get to learn. But I think the best part is when you go in there like you don't know everything. When you're like,
absolutely.
So sometimes when you network with certain people who are, they've gone far in their field. It's about saying, it's about coming in and humbling yourself, saying, I want to learn more. you know, and I think, and I got that from you because the reason I'm saying is because when you met me, I believe you had one property, you had your own home and one investment property.
Yeah.
And I just thought, but I saw that there was this passion and this drive, and you mentioned similar thing like the time will come because you didn't have a child then.
No,
you didn't have a child then, and you were thinking like, you know, it's a time will come about, you know, you want to. And I was saying to you that, you know, you can grow this way because you were trying to tell me about your strategy, and I thought, you know what, you can actually grow it this way, you know. And then we did a consultation, the one-to-one. You paid for the consultation, and then we had a chat, and then your mind just went like, I'm hungry. Let's go.
Yeah, because sometimes when I say something, I like everybody to learn in general, but sometimes I also like to reflect on biblical principle as well.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm not gonna say Bible is fully for Christian. I call it book of life. It's for everybody. That if you just tap into the principle, you don't have to be Christian. It still works. You know, Bible says something. It says, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the kingdom of God." And what I find in that aspect is always willing to be a student, no matter what you know. Even though you're a professor, you've been in the game for 30, 40 years, it doesn't matter. Always willing to be a student, never intending to be a teacher. Always willing to be a student. That's always intended to learn. One of the greatest prophets in the Bible was Moses. Moses was the meekest guy. You know, so the key thing for me is, even though I know something, I'm sure there's something I still don't know yet.
Yeah.
No matter how deep I know, there's still something I don't know yet. And I feel like that's one of the ways you come in to help in that bridging that gap.
Yeah.
And that gives me a lot of exposure. And to be honest, at the end of the day, you know, it could be something that I paid for temporary discomfort, but it's a life enjoyment for me.
No, because the reason why that's important is because we spoke, and I was just telling. I remember telling you how you can actually just build a portfolio in a few years. I remember, but there was something I'll never forget that you said to me. You know, because most of what I can say is, you know, we make notes and stuff. You was like, you know, a time will come where you want to live in a certain area. And I remember saying to you, not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Why don't you grow the portfolio? And it's interesting that then we were talking like grow your portfolio in the millions. And at first it sounded like I've just got one house and I've got one investment. At one point you're like, well, I'm like, yeah, well, if you, because I think you had like a strategy in your mind, and all I just did was just expand on it a little bit. And then I just said, you run with it. Yeah. And then we decided to work together. And then got you the first one, and which was like, and it was interesting because, like you said, being a student and stuff, not saying I also know everything, but it was also quite nice to see someone who was not just a homeowner, but a homeowner and an investor. Yeah. But coming in like, okay, I'm going to go to this property consultant, and he's just going to guide me. And it was kind of like, wow, you were willing to say, yo, I'm here to learn from you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the key things for me was, you know, when you come from an environment where a lot of people don't know that field, do you see what I mean? You know, God bless our generation before us, our parents, and you know, and those kind of generation, to be honest. But they try their best, they do their best, and thank God for their life. But there is a limit of what they knew then, and I'm sure if they know some of the things that we know now, they would have passed that information to us,
big time.
You know, but unfortunately, they didn't know. So it is our responsibility to get to know it, and I think at that time of my life, I'm desperate to find who can I speak to, or who do I know that can help with this kind of information. Yeah. And when you came in, and to be honest, it switched on something in my head.
I would say, I mean, I've been doing this now for 10 years, bro. But I think it didn't just switch on. I think it awoken like something in you, because like I said, I was like, okay, you know, you can buy this house, and then you can go from this house and then add value to it like this way, and then keep working, and then get another one, and then but get this type of, because you had, and I love it because I just said to you, you don't have to follow everyone's strategies. Yeah, go with what worked for you, and that's what sometimes happens in property. Sometimes people think, everyone's doing HMO.
Nah,
HMO is
it's
the livelihood property,
yeah.
so I must only do HMO.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nothing wrong
It's
with HMO. You can make loads of money from HMOs.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone is doing commercial, so commercial is the way. But I was like, don't forget about the noise.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the noise is also a distraction.
Yeah,
When it comes to
absolutely.
property, when it
Yep.
comes to business. And all I said was, here's a plan, follow this plan. And I remember saying to you, how would you feel in a couple of years' time you've got portfolio 1 million, 2 million? And you were like, yeah, but if you want to stick to this, but one thing I will say about you, you stuck with it.
Yeah.
But discipline,
A
bro.
lot of hard work and
Discipline, bro. We're going to talk about now. So let's get into it. So we got we got, and the good thing as well, you also have a mentor as well, which was quite good. Someone who was big in property. You know what I mean? So it was just like, it was nice to see that you had a mentor who was big in property, and you can also bounce things back with them as well.
Yeah.
So we not got you this property, which is a flat with a freehold, and I was just, I was so excited.
Yeah.
But I remember, but then I think where I would commend you now was when you now thought, let me I remember you said to me, actually, you're the expert, so let me listen to you. Remember when we got the flat, and prices were crazy then, man. Oh my God, prices was, whoa, like literally, they wanted you to pay they want you to pay 10K more. They don't even want you to pay they want you to pay 10K and above more.
Yeah.
And then we got this flat, it was a freehold, brilliant location.
Yeah.
Near town center. Near everything. And
Actually, that wasn't even the best.
no.
It wasn't the best.
No.
The one that came after, the same building.
Correct. Correct.
The same building.
Correct.
I think that was gonna be was the fourth property?
No, let's back there. So let's actually talk about this one, because it was important. It was something that happened that was very important. So if you remember when it came to making offers, and you were like, let's go. And he was like, it's good, let's go. And I was like, no, we're gonna bring the price down. And when the agent called me, and obviously they know what we do, it's kind of the conversation was kind of like, yo, man, this guy's happy to go above the price. Why are you trying to? What's going on here? Because I know them.
Yeah.
Why are you trying to knock off 10? But you negotiated on that. That was a flat with a freehold, which made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It was a smart move. It was a smart move. People would have just walked away, but I was able to break down this is the potential.
Yeah.
You could own all of, now you're going to own the whole of this building. And then later on, find out from her when she wants to sell, it becomes yours as well. So you're literally using one stone to kill two birds.
I remember the day I went to view that flat, actually, I remember top of my head. So I think I got there. There was somebody that came before me, so I had to wait outside, and somebody came after me. So when I got there, it was the owner of the house showing me
with his wife.
With his wife,
Yeah.
They were showing me. I think the wife was pregnant. Then,
She was.
If I remember, yeah. So they were showing me around, and I remember the first person that came that went inside actually had about 2 minutes conversation with this guy. And this guy told me he had a few properties in London, but no, that he's not filling this one. I said, why is he not filling? He said, no, it's just not going to this type. I was like, okay, anyway, I'm just going to go view it. And I viewed it. The only thing I see on the property that was, it's actually, but the two things I see on the property, the one is the freehold, and the second one is the damping on the property. I thought to myself, damping can be fixed, freehold is forever.
You
know what? The freehold overshadows the damp. That's a power of negotiation for me. So I think that's one of the reasons I fell in love with the property.
And then I came and then you viewed it. Then I came to view.
You came to view.
And then the guy I feel like he was gonna be uncomfortable. I was moving his sofas, I was moving things around, and he was like, and I thought, and I think it looked at me and I was thinking, now we're going to knock off some money off, because now, and then the lender we had to deal with as well. We had to deal with the lender. And then they were scrutinizing everything.
That was...
the lender was, we had to deal with the lenders, had to deal with the solicitor, and it was the back and forth. At one point, you're like, man,
I'm tired.
And, I get this a lot from my clients when they're buying. Do you know what? It's because, and I always say this, property is great, but sometimes it's a business, and people sometimes need to ask themselves, is this for me?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Is this for me? And how much time do I want to put into it?
And also one thing is, nothing good comes easy.
That's right.
That's one of the key things. If I'm something I'm learning in property business,
absolutely.
nothing. If the more challenging it becomes, that shows that there's something good about those things.
Yes.
It's like you're trying to dig for a gold. You know, the machineries, the risk people take just to get that gold or that rare stone, it doesn't come that easily. If it's easy, you're able to pick it up on the street.
Yes.
So those are the kind of key things you need to ask yourself sometimes. But you have to also look at it. I mean, for me, property business is a very long-term goal.
It is.
You know, you're not something that you're saying you start making profits straight away. And I don't know people that sell it on YouTube or wherever online saying you're making profit like that. It doesn't work like that. You have sometimes you probably be negative for the next 1 to 2 years, but really stick to it. Really stick to that discipline and be consistent. You reap up the fruit.
And your plan, and when we were going for this property, you know, and I remember you kept saying to like Moses, man, if you know me in this game, yeah, man, I would just. It was the fact that you at one point you were like, no, I can't. This is just doing my head in right now, and dealing with the solicitor, and the solicitor was not making things easier.
Yeah.
But you know, sometimes it's good to remember your why. Why are you doing this?
Why are you doing this?
Why? Because there are people who get involved in property. They don't have a why. It's just because they've seen videos online and they just think it looks so nice, and you think you can just become financially free like tomorrow.
Nah.
You know what I'm saying? Now there are some strategies that you could. Hey, depends on how it works for you. But you saw the long-term game, and I had to keep reminding you of the long-term game.
Yeah.
Now getting that property wasn't easy peasy whatsoever. It wasn't. It came with a lot of stress.
Yeah.
It came with a lot of stress. But go on.
And especially the freehold and leasehold part.
Correct.
It came with a lot of stress.
How did you find? Because obviously we you know, then the lender was like, no, you got to fix do the damn survey, and that lender was like, you got to do the damn survey, and then after it's done, put the heating in there, change the heating this way, then once, and the owner was like, well, I can't pay for it. That's what I was like. All I was like, Moses, do your thing. Do
whatever you have to do.
Do your thing. I was like, finally, man. Let me do. And we had to knock. I remember the agent said to me like, "You want to knock off this much?" But I said, "Listen, man, that's my client." And I remember I said to him, "Well, it's up to you. Do you want me to take him off to another one?" No, I'm not. I'm like, well, tell the vendor. And I remember when I did get to speak to the vendor, I just got him to understand. And the one thing I did say to him though was, "Hey, at the end of the day, hey, you're married, I'm married. All of us have wives. But is it actually right for our wives that is pregnant to sleep in a room that has damp? That's not safe.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, so sometimes in this business, you really have to talk to people like they're human beings and just get them to reason. So all I did was I was negotiating with him. Yes, I knew I was going to knock money off, because at the end of the day, it's not also fair on you as well, because you're buying an investment. So, but I think he got it, and I love the fact he was like, okay, go ahead, we'll knock this off, and he just started cooperating. And there were times, I think there was a time I actually just drove there, even with that year, I just drove there to see it, because sometimes you just want to like reassure them that it's okay. It's good. It's going to be done. Your guys. You had a guy, you had a team, a guy came in there, fixed it was done. Then we went back to the lender again, we started fighting again, and finally, and it took a while, but finally we got it. But the good thing was you ended up buying, this was now your second investment.
Second investment.
Second investment.
Third properties, but second investment.
Third property, but second investment. But with the freehold, and I said to you, please keep an eye on the one on top. We already gone back. We looked at the, you know, like the stairs to see what could be changed, and the lady was also quite sweet as well. But I really liked how you just continued on that path.
I think if for that particular property, two things I learned in terms of life lesson, and I'm still using that up to now. Number one is the power of having a team. That they know better than you. So that key thing, I mean, I actually read it. I can't remember what book I read it as well. Like, for example, now in my business now, I have my solicitor, I have my accountants, I have people that negotiate property for me, which is we're one of them. You know, I have, so that those kind of things that, okay, when it comes to negotiating rightly, I know who to call. Moses will help me to do that job. When it comes to doing my finances properly, I know my accountant. When it comes to my solicitor that is going to do a good job for me in terms of conveyance, I know my solicitor to call. So all these key things are very vital for you to surround yourself with a team as a business owner.
Yes.
That's number one. And number two, I think one of the key things which you just mentioned here is it's not just about the money, it's about the people's feeling as well, people's mind.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the key things I used for the second property.
Yes.
You know, for this for the third property. For that one, we didn't go through an agency. We actually spoke directly with the seller. And one thing like you said, build that rapport relationship. I gave her my number, said I gave the landlord my number, saying if there's anything, my other tenant just call me straight away. And I'll come and deal with it. And yeah, she did call me like 1 or 2 times, and I reassured her. So she actually loved me for that. And I said to her, in case you're willing to sell, because she keep telling me, yeah, maybe we're planning to move. I'm planning to move to. Okay, if you're willing to sell, just let me know. You know, I'm praying I have the money then. You know, because obviously I have to put some money down. But just let me know, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And and I think. I mean, everything works together for good, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know where that money comes from. Yeah, I think it was during COVID as well.
No, we're going to talk about that because if you remember, there was a time we had this conversation, and let me see properly now because I want to get into it now.
Yeah.
Let me adjust. There was a time we looked at this 9 to 5 stuff that goes on all the time online and everything.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing I want to say is this, and I'm glad I learned this, because I was that guy who 2008 quit university, quit this, and my mom she was not happy. She told me, when you get one of those uncles to ring because I went to networking events. I went to events at Excel. I went to events at then I started going to some property and business events.
Yeah.
And some entrepreneurs were like, if you're 9 to 5, you're a slave. You're a slave to your boss. And I'm thinking, okay, this guy's American. Tell me if I'm a 9 to 5, I'm a slave to my boss. And then right here in the UK, I say, if you're working 9 to 5, you're still a slave to your boss.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, why is everyone saying I'm a slave to my boss and everything? And then, but I think I had to really catch myself because I made a mistake myself. I quit. So listen to that. No plan. There was no plan in place. 2008. Quit my university course then I quit the job I had. I just found I'm cool, man. I was like, I'm gonna become an entrepreneur. And I remember saying to my mom, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. And I said to her, Richard Branson doesn't have degree. And I was calling all the names and stuff because I thought 9 to 5. Who would, like, if you want 9 to 5, you're a slave. And my mom was looking at me like, so me working and paying this mortgage. So I'm do you understand? And the reason I'm saying is because that came up when we were doing that property at one point. And I remember we had obviously now I was not working my business, but I know we had a good conversation about that. And saw things in a different way. The way I see work to me, Ola, is your work, whether it's 9 to 5, 9 to 6, 10 to 4, 1 to, it doesn't matter. Work is a fuel. It's a tool. That's how I say it.
Yeah.
Because there are people who work right now. There are some people who are working right now who they earn more than entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Way more than entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
But because they have a plan, they have a long-term plan, that work right now is just a few to say, you know what, I'm going to use this as a means, as a tool to provide, to literally build this. Now, when this get to a stage whereby I don't use this more, I can easily transition into here and continue building.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's important not to listen, because I know we had the conversation. I was like, no, there's no quitting of job here. There's because then I asked the question, okay, so if you quit your job, you got a mortgage right now. So in 2 years' time, do you have where's your tax overview? And you'd be amazed the amount of conversation I've had with people who have called me, especially when they've seen like some property, especially those in property, like, 'cause I can only speak to people I speak to. I can talk about people I speak to. They've seen like property ads or emails and things like that, social media stuff, and quit your job, your business will just boom. And then I ask them, for those who are homeowners, so I say, okay, cool. When is your mortgage due for renewal? Like your remortgage? End of this year or next year. Oh, fantastic. So, okay, so if you quit your job now, fantastic. You want to start your business, amazing. I'm going to clap for you, which is great. So do you have your tax overview for to show the lender to show them your income for the last 1 year, 2 years
Yes.
from your business?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't tax overview. What's that? I'm like, okay. Do you have an SA302? Are you going to start as self-employed? Yeah, I'll start as self-employed. Okay. So do you have your SA302 for the first year ready to present for your remortgage when it's time? Because they need to see that you're earning something, isn't
Yeah.
it? And then you get I don't have that
I
yet.
doubt that. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm not against you quitting your job, but even the Bible says if you don't work, you don't eat.
Yeah.
But work is just something that you don't have to be slave to it. You know what I'm saying? And I think people who are unhappy
Yeah.
at a job are those who are just doing it just to make ends meet.
Yeah.
They just feel like, okay, I don't have anything else to do. There's no plan.
Yeah.
But I believe that if you are ambitious, if you've got plans, and that's where you came in.
Yeah.
And literally, we had that conversation. I was like, bro, you can stick to the job, but listen, bro, just grow this stuff.
Yeah.
And I was saying to you, now you've gotten this one, keep it on hand like you did. Get that one. But then now you know that and I said, remember I was saying to you, get a team.
Yeah.
But now just replicate this. Don't move into your thing. I remember you now said to me, I like to move to like a nice. I'm like, okay, before you move into that place, why don't you build this?
Yeah.
Why still doing your job? Because like you said, it's a long-term goal. And then later you can now move to that house that you like. But wouldn't it feel so nice?
Yeah.
If you've moved to this big house now, but you know you've got some assets.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? You've
Yeah.
got some assets. And that's something that sometimes, people don't think about. I mean, how was it for you though? Because obviously that period when we spoke about, the 9 to 5, how did you manage it?
So it's actually very funny. COVID did a lot of bad things. Let's be honest.
Correct.
But I think
yes.
there were a lot of good, in my view, just personally, there are more good things COVID did for me than bad thing. What did I mean by that? When COVID happened, that's when everybody started working from home. If you remember that one. And, I realized that, wait a minute, I can literally get out of my bed at, 8:45 or whatever, brush my teeth and just jump straight on my laptop and start my day. Whereas before, I have to wake up like 6 o'clock in the morning, and literally by 5 o'clock, I'm done. Like for the day, I've got the whole time for myself. So the question is, what do you do with your time before you start work and after you finish work? And that got me thinking, what else can I do to make an extra, income? And I think one of the key things I did was started like a training, with what I know in my job or in my field. And my missus as well. Also, she did like she was a teacher then, so she did like a extra teaching as well, where she did online teaching for kids as well. So one of those key things we did then was to make that extra. So that basically brings us some more money into our income, and so the key thing for me that we're able to save a lot of money. And like you mentioned then, one also thing about COVID for me, it was I don't know if you remember the story of the Bible when there was 7 years of famine and 7 years of plenty.
Yeah, plenty, yeah.
You have to be very sensitive with time and season in this world. You really have to be very sensitive. And, then for me, this is an opportunity for us to gather as much money as we can, because now the opportunity we had, we don't have it anymore. It's either you're hybrid or you're full-time going to office. So let's use the opportunity to gather as much money we can. Even though I remember my missus was actually pressure, like, you get enough money, we can go and buy another house, like you said. Let's build more assets that will pay for us, that we don't need to stress in the future, because then children hasn't come in, it's just me and her.
Yeah.
So we don't have too much responsibility going on. And, and also one of the key things as well is referring back to that 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. We have that energy now. And this, a lot of people make that mistakes now, because the reason why a lot of people are very sad with their job is they want to be free to do something else.
Correct.
But they're stuck. Yeah. Because if they come out of that place, where is the money going to come from? And for me, that 7 years of plenty doesn't really have to be like food. It could be, you got plenty of energy.
Correct.
So use that energy when you're still young to invest, to get those assets, because when you get older, the energy you have when you're 30 is going to be completely different from the energy when you're 40. The energy when you're 40 is completely different from when you're 50. I remember back in the days before I gave my life to Christ, I can go to club from 9 to 7 o'clock.
Are you gonna work?
And I'll go the next day.
You know. In the morning,
I'm
you're like,
fine.
you're like, yeah. You're like, yeah.
You know, I can never do that in my life. No, no way I can do that right now. Well, you know, I mean, this Saturday party I was telling you about, when I left there really late, like around 11 o'clock, I felt the pain.
When you woke up,
woke up like, going to church was struggling. I was like, what happened? Me that, you know, before, like literally every Saturday we go clubbing.
Yeah.
The next day we go to church. We're fine.
Yeah.
You know, we come back home and sleep.
Yeah.
We literally sleep for 3 hours. You're okay.
That's right.
But what I'm trying to say is the energy you have then is completely from the energy we have now. So, but the thing is, our bill doesn't go down. Inflation, everything is going up. And this is why a lot of people are depressed. So the key thing, like you said, is now that you have the opportunity, you know, build that asset. I'm going to tell my nephew, my first nephew, so my big sister's firstborn, he's in his 20s now, 22 or something. I just say to him, I said, dude, the difference between me and you is not money. The difference between me and you is time. That's right. You know, I wish I know the things I know when I was your age. So if you're smart, listen to my advice and follow my instructions.
It's like Proverbs, isn't it?
Yeah.
What you just said now is literally like Proverbs.
Yeah.
My son, listen to my instructions.
Yeah, listen to my instructions.
That's
exactly.
right. That's right.
You know, that literally you time you have now, because he's now starting to get into my field, you know, and he's doing the things I do as in a professional field. And I said, look, because he's getting to that young, like going out, getting girls and all that stuff. I say, yeah, you do that. Your prime. There's time for everything. Enjoy your life, but also be smart. Plan. Exactly. Don't use all your hands to eat all your food. I've got that proverb that using all your hands to eat all your food. So what I'm trying to say basically is, if you're earning £100, spend £30 lavishly as you can. You don't have any bills to pay. Save that £70. Trust me, you will need it for the future. And then he's good. He's listening to me now because he's got his first property now in Manchester, which is good. I'm very happy for him.
And I love what you said. I love what you said that, because and this is why I encourage a lot of young people to work. I do encourage them to work because I'm only saying to them, like, you know, it's like you have to be in a place whereby you have a plan. Every business needs cash flow.
Yeah.
Work is cash flow.
Yes.
You were disciplined to, you know, analyze the situation during COVID and say, okay, what else can we do?
Yeah.
But if you notice, you've carried on because you've now grown a portfolio right now that is in the millions.
Yeah.
And then you've now finally decided, okay, now we can now move. You didn't. One thing I love that you did was, and I remember I used to say to you, wait, get another one, and I love when you call and say, Moses, man, yeah, we're gonna have one, and it's just the joy because that discipline was there.
Yeah.
Now, for those who are listening, though, I mean, because not everybody can, you know, save. How did you actually get yourself in that mind frame? Because sometimes when the money is coming in, there's that tendency of, do we go on holiday?
Yeah.
Do we buy do we change our car? Do we buy a bigger house?
Yeah.
Which is what most people things. People like to be, sometimes I feel like people want to be validated.
Yeah.
Based on what I drive, where I live, and all this kind of thing. But how did you remain disciplined?
That's the biggest mistake a lot of people make, the word validated. People make that big mistake a lot. I mean, okay, so for us, one of the key things we do, I mean, when me and my missus start understanding finance, you know, understanding, well, one thing I actually one of the key things that actually struck me most when I see Mark Zuckerberg, I'm kind of gauging, I wonder that white t-shirt he's wearing or the black t-shirt he's wearing, I wonder how much it costs. In Primark, it's probably £10. It's good, it looks like it. I don't know. In Primark, it could be one of those luxury. But to me, I won't buy that shirt more than £10. If it's more than £10, I'm not buying. What I'm just trying to say basically is I look at my outgoings.
Yeah.
Do I really, really need to do this? And also wisdom. I think I mentioned this to you earlier before. Like, for example, when I go to work, you know, one of the key things to save money is I do off-peak trains. A lot of people will finish work at 5 o'clock and they'll be coming up straight. and you, number one, you stay in a very packed train.
Yeah.
With smelly people, everybody's tired. And number two, you pay peak time, which is like a massive, and maybe a single journey could be about £4 or £5. By the time you add that up, is a lot of money in a month. Let's be realistic. And by the time you add that up in a year, in 2 years, you're looking at thousands.
Yeah.
So one of the key things I looked at, okay, what if I stay in the office after work? Number one, I'll use the opportunity to read. Well, we don't have any children to go home with right now. My missus is probably busy as well, so we will probably have time to see each other even if I go home. So I'll stay at home. I'll stay at work, read for 2 hours. Either I'm reading some professional book or I'm reading some personal or life, changing book or wherever. Number two, I will get on the train, have a seat, and number three, I'm going to pay an off-peak. It's a win-win for everything. So those are the kind of things I had to stay consistently disciplined in that. And those are one of the key things when you talk about holiday. Yes, we do try to go on holiday once in a year just to relax, change of environment. But I remember that we go on budget holiday. When I say budget, very budget holiday. 3-star hotel. I'm sorry. I mean, because I looked at, some people say I can't stay in 3 stars. Well, for me, it's temporary. It's not forever. And that's a sacrifice you have to make. Sometimes. It's all about sacrifice. There's nothing that is worth achieving for you make that sacrifice for. That's the key thing. You have to make that, and you have to look at it. It's a sacrifice, it's a temporary, and it's a good thing. I mean, for example, my missus, I'll give you an example now. My missus have this, an engagement ring. I didn't tell her how much I bought that engagement ring, but trust me, it was ridiculously cheap.
Now she's going to listen to this now we're going to have a conversation.
It's ridiculously cheap. And, even though I can change that ring now, but I always tell her, babe, please don't change that ring. It reminds us where God has taken us from, to where we are. We have to make a lot of sacrifice at that period of time. I know that I can afford times 20 of that right now, but the thing is, you make some sacrifice in life to get to where you need to get to. And those are the kind of key things. It's my car. I don't drive. Personally, I don't believe in luxury cars. Maybe I'm just not really a car person. My car, as far as I know, there's no finance on it, all paid off. So I don't need to be putting money as a liability in there. It takes me from A to B. 2 weeks ago, I was in Milton Keynes. I drove the car there. This over the weekend, I was in Rochester and Maidstone. I drove the car there. I drove the car here. It's A to B. Every year I service it. Very reliable, very nice. I'm not bothered. I'm not here to validate people that they say, oh, you drive a nice car for like 5 minutes, and for the next 2 to 3 years, I'm paying some ridiculous amount of money for finance. Which, that's not the mindset of rich people. You have to look at it that way. I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy life. You shouldn't. I mean, if I feel like driving Ferrari, I'll go and rent one. Drive it, get that dopamine out.
Right. And you see what you're saying, and I think just to make it clear to people, like everybody, this is something you've done yourself, and there's a word I always say to people. Literally, it's called temporary pain, maximum gain.
Yep.
And what you've just done there, and so because people sometimes are thinking, because you've just been buying, you're consistently buying, you're working 9 to 5, and you're growing your property portfolio, and you've not also bought your new home again. So your portfolio has not grown from when we sat down in a party, had a conversation, and I said, well, this is the plan. And you were just someone who just stuck to the plan. You've just literally, taking it to the next level. But same time, even though you are not even though you are now in a position whereby you can even afford some of these things, you're still thinking, no. You know what I'm saying? You're still thinking, I still want to grow this. So as we round up, for those who are watching, because if I'm correct, you're in the IT field. You do IT, and I've come across some IT guys. You guys make money, Listen, come off it, man. I went to a meeting. Hey, what? I went to a meeting with some IT. What? When I go to IT guys now, I'm not buying lunch anymore, man. Jeez, you guys make some money. But the key thing is that, just like that, not everyone in IT also saves or invests. But you've just decided to take that path. And the reason why I like this is because I want to show people like there are everyday people who are making changes to their lives. And sometimes people feel like when I see a billionaire saying it or a multi-millionaire saying it, it might look a bit hard to achieve. But this is someone, or like just a regular guy who just say, everyday person, I've just decided to be disciplined
Yeah.
to work and build wealth, and your faith has also kicked. So, what is it what can you tell our audience? What would you encourage someone who's, for example, in your field, example, those your fellow IT guys, someone who's in your field who now they've got the energy, they've got the energy now, but they've not started their investment journey, and they've not because property is not the only business you can run. You can run all kinds of businesses. So, what would you encourage those who are listening right now who love to start, but they don't have that enthusiasm at the moment?
I always say to people, especially some of the young people that I mentor now or I speak to, is your brain that God has given you could be the biggest asset in your life if you use it properly. And it can also become the biggest liability if you don't use it properly. What do I mean by that? Everything we're talking about, everything we're saying, everything we're doing, all comes to your thinking. What if I do this? What if I do that? Oh, I can't be bothered to do that one. I can't bother to think about that one. It's all happen with your brain and your mind, really. So it's not really about the money or the assets, because think about it. The richest man in the whole world only has one brain. The poorest man in the whole world only has one brain. What makes them different? It's still the brain. It's what they use that brain for. So your brain could be switched from liability to an asset, or from an asset to liability. Depends on how you're thinking. And one of the key things for you to help your thinking is the power of relationship, connectivity. You know, there's a say, show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. You know, the kind of people you hang around with, they're key. I mean, one of the things that actually really started to switch my brain, I remember then, was when I was about to get married. And I had a couple of friends. I had a friends then that were going to be my best man. And I remembered, even though I put that money saying, guys, I'm going to pay for your shirt to wear for that, just buy the suit. I think the suit, if I remember, that it cost me like about 150 pounds. And still my men were struggling to buy those suits. And that got me thinking, who am I hanging around with? That's one of the key things. I say, okay, I need to change my circles. The kind of guys I hang around with right now, if I say to them, I'm getting married today, the suit is 2,000. We didn't think of eye. It's nothing. What I'm just trying to say is your mindset, your brain really matters to your future or how you think. So right now in your 20s, it's good to do those what young people do, but be mindful that you're not going to be in that age forever. At one point you're going to be 30. At one point you're going to be 40. At one point you're going to be 50. At one point you're going to have kids. You're going to have responsibility. It could be only you right now, but you will have responsibility in future. It might not necessarily be paying bills. You have children. If you want to have children, or even though you don't have children, if you have a partner, you expect to contribute something or somewhere somehow. So what are you? Do you want to be stressed, working in an environment where you're not happy and you're still paying those bills, or you don't even have the energy? Because what a lot of people go through as well, it's not necessarily that they don't like it; they don't have the energy anymore. They're tired. When you're doing the same thing all over for the last 10, 15 years. You're tired. You want to move to something. You want to try something, but you're stuck. And because you're stuck now, you don't have to go to that. You not become miserable, and that's when you don't become. You're not happy in the things that you do. So the key thing for me is your thinking strategy and your mindset. So our advice on people is come off that social media, come off Instagram, come off YouTube, wherever you're watching. Read books. Because I personally love reading. When I say read books, read
good books,
hard copy books.
Yeah.
Because Instagram easily, if you're even though watching somebody on Instagram, another alert just comes in, you distract you. Get that phone off your table. I mean, I have that kind of discipline. Like I won't touch my phone. And I think sometimes you call me, you just go straight to voicemail because I put my phone to do not disturb. For like 4 or 5 hours, I will just focus on doing my thing, meditation or whatever I need to do then. And so those are the kind of things that help you to develop personally.
Wow.
And those are the discipline you must, it's not somebody that has something to tell you. If you believe you have that vision and you can get there, you want to get there, you can certainly get there, but it's up to you, not up to nobody on this planet. No matter what the policy is, no matter what country you're from, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This thing works in the poorest country in the world. It also works in the richest country in the world.
Man, all right. See, this is what I'm saying, man. So, like, and your portfolio has already got over 2 million already. Your portfolio.
Yeah.
So, Ola, man, Ola, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming to the studio to have this conversation with me.
Thank you.
It's just a privilege, and powerful stuff. So, and I'm sure our listeners have taken something from this. They've taken something from this. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Share your thoughts in the comments. What stood out for you in this episode. So remember, it is very possible, but also remember that it's about your thinking. Until next time, take care, guys.
Come out of YouTube, wherever you're watching, read books. Because I personally love reading. When I say read books, read
good books.
Hard copy books.
Yeah.
Because Instagram easily, if you're even though watching somebody on Instagram, another alert just comes in, you distract you. Get that phone off your table. I mean, I have that kind of discipline. Like, I won't touch my phone. And I think sometimes you call me, you just go straight to voicemail because I put my phone to do not disturb. For like 4 or 5 hours, I will just focus on doing my thing, meditation or whatever I need to do then. And so those are the kind of things that help you to develop personally.
Wow.
And those are the discipline you must, it's not somebody that has something to tell you. If you believe you have that vision and you can get there, you want to get there, you can certainly get there, but it's up to you, not up to nobody on this planet. No matter what the policy is, no matter what country you're from, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This thing works in the poorest country in the world. It also works in the richest country in the world.
Man, all right. See, this is what I'm saying, man. So, like, and your portfolio has already got over 2 million already. Your portfolio.
Yeah.
So, Ola, thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to the studio to have this conversation with me.
Thank you.
It's just a privilege, and powerful stuff. So, and I'm sure our listeners have taken something from this. They've taken something from this. So we hope you've enjoyed this episode. Share your thoughts in the comments. What stood out for you in this episode. So remember, it is very possible, but also remember that it's about your thinking. Until next time, take care, guys.